you may have a great technology, but you might not have a business.
Today we have the amazing Dr. Sarah Matt. She is the force of nature dedicated to fixing healthcare's biggest failures. And she's a general surgeon turned technologies strategist who's seeing the system fail patients from the inside out. Her upcoming book, drumroll, The Borderless Healthcare Revolution, launching in December 2025, provides a radical playbook for true access. When she is not architecting health tech strategy, she's teaching at SUNY Upstate, volunteering at a charity clinic, and playing roller derby.
Technology will continue to innovate and evolve faster than we can ever adopt it and implement it. I break down healthcare access into 5 pillars: geographic, financial, cultural, digital, and trust and knowledge.
Welcome to Provider's Edge, where healthcare leaders and innovators learn how to scale smarter, lead stronger, and create lasting impact. Too many health, dental, and wellness innovators build great solutions that never get adopted. In this episode, Dr. Sarah Matt and I unpacked why better technology alone doesn't guarantee success. If you're a clinician, entrepreneur, founder, or executive struggling with growth, adoption, funding, or commercialization, you'll learn how healthcare access, user experience, and market readiness can determine whether your innovation scales or gets ignored. Look who we have here. Today we have the amazing Dr. Sarah Matt. She is the force of nature dedicated to fixing healthcare's biggest failures. And she's a general surgeon turned technologies strategist who's seeing the system fail patients from the inside out. Her upcoming book, drumroll, The Borderless Healthcare Revolution, launching in December 2025, provides a radical playbook for true access. When she is not architecting health tech strategy, she's teaching at SUNY Upstate, volunteering at a charity clinic, and playing roller derby. Wow. All right, you're very active. I mean, I hike a little bit here and there, right? Like my thing recently has been going to all the national parks, but yeah, me jumping out of the plane or doing anything like too extreme, not really.
It's a fun deal. It's a fun deal.
So, Dr. Sarah, take us on a little journey. What was the pivotal point in your life that you're just like, you know what, medical bedside is not the same as how we can expand into the next stage of our career and the next stage of what healthcare is needed for us to play in, especially women.
I know, right? So I think I figured this out rather early. So during my fellowship, it was Burn Fellowship, it was half research, half clinical. And I realized that I liked writing grants. I liked getting money. Those are business cases. And everyone else complained. I liked doing all this complex experimentation. That's operations and project management. I liked writing all these crazy articles. So I knew I had different skills. And I also knew I felt rather constrained. As a general surgeon, you could probably see 20 people in a day. If you're really bumping it up or in a heavy ED, you can maybe see 40. But how could I scale myself? How could I help hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of people every day? And I figured out it wasn't at the bedside. But as you know, sometimes doctors can be the smartest dumb people you've ever met. And so I had to go get myself retooled. And so went to UT Austin to get my MBA. And during that process, realized that I really enjoyed strategy and I really enjoyed more the product management aspects. And I kind of dug into that on the tech side.
Yeah, I think that's the transition a lot of us start seeing, right? We got so passionate into medicine thinking, whoa, we're going to do this, a lot of great things. But we don't understand what the volume it takes to do a lot of great things. And also that's very subjective for just like when we apply to grad school, you have to write your personal statement, right? Everyone somehow has this story that they wanted to tell, they wanted to help, but it's actually very arbitrary. So we have to dive deeper into what does that mean for us. And you went to your journey with brand writing, all those stuff that a startup, a business need. Because guess what? If we have no initial capital to go anywhere, you're building nothing, right? Nobody is
Exactly.
even able to help you because you have to appreciate other people's work. And money is the exchange of energy, right? We have to see how we can collectively to build this together and getting your MBA and all those amazing things. I think that's the missing element for all of us is that similar to you, right? I was in that stage of like operate more, see more, like cardiac, we can't, right? I can do 2, 3 pump cases, I'll be dead by the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
Like even one pump cases, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm feeling old, right? Like I need to wearing a back brace. And then my team will be making fun of me. It's like, are you boxing? Are you doing weights? I'm like, I'm protecting my body. Okay, guys. So it's that what is the volume that we can play with technology, with these advisory roles, taking a C-suite role, especially women. We have 80% of workforce in healthcare are women. We understand it in and out, stepping up, right? Whether that's leading in a race, being an investor, taking on this advisor role, we should be the forefront of those conversations. And I love it that you pivot into this way. And then at what point do you start thinking, hey, I need to document my expertise. Let me write a book.
So this past year has been very interesting for everyone. AI has gone crazy, and there's a lot of polarization across the United States. And so when I was given the opportunity to write this book, and Wiley came to me to do that, it was a great time to write this story and to tell the stories of colleagues, of other providers, of systems, of tech execs, and of patients. Because one thing everyone can come together around is healthcare access. Everyone who's listening to this podcast today has a terrible story about access where it failed them, their families, or their friends. And so, no matter what differences we all have an access story,
Oh, yes, right? Like all of us, even for us who
all of
work in
us.
healthcare, like all of us have that story of, I'm supposed to have a minor procedure. I end up with a $30,000 bill, right? There's the
Exactly.
hospital bill, there's the surgeon bill, anesthesia bill. And then you're just like, whoa, when did it become so expensive? How come my health insurance doesn't really cover anything? We have to negotiate pre existing conditions. What does all this mean, right? And then can you
It's a lot.
imagine?
Mhm.
It's a lot. And even for those of us who are in medicine, we're just like, don't ask me about billing, insurance, patient, there's that department, right? And then same thing when we have to go through it, I'm just like, wow, can you imagine all of our patients who are aging, senior, they are taking
Mhm.
care of their family and they're working and they have to make all those phone calls. Who have time for all that? And then when they're on the call waiting for hours, rerouting into all the wrong department to get to anything, right? So tell us a little bit more about what's in the book and what are the best readers for these book and who will enjoy the most.
So I aim this book at two audiences. First, leaders in healthcare delivery, but I don't mean just C-suite, and I don't just mean people with big titles. I mean everyone from the board all the way down to community health workers, lead nurse on a floor. And I think that's the biggest piece here is that we've all read so many books that don't really have any actionable insights. This is actionable in every single chapter for people that are living in a delivery system right now, regardless of the setting. And every single person at every single layer of that system can actually do something about healthcare access today. The other audience is builders. I've spent my entire career building product management, development, and strategy teams all over the world. And so if I go to another pitch session where I see a pitch deck that says they have a wonderful AI company and it doesn't actually solve a real pervasive and urgent problem, or it doesn't actually take into mind the fact that real humans need to utilize this technology, I'm going to scream. So it's really built for builders too. So how can we build access in from the beginning? And not just because it's a nice to have, but because it's actually going to improve your business, help you get funded, and actually begin the commercialization process early. So the book
Exactly.
itself, oh yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just wanted to add in, and what I'm hearing you is it's helping the builder to see there's a continuation of a customer journey that people have to build, not just this flashy. I'm so good. I'm using AI. Look at how much we are building, how quote unquote improving. And then we're like, what are you actually improving? Have you talked to all the end users to
Yes,
create this entire experience? And you understand the psychology and the tactic of all the end user from the admin side, clinical side, patient side. So you can actually demonstrate a user case to say this is working, right? And not just throwing the words of AI, technology, integration, better workflow, right? And like this is what you're
exactly.
demonstrating.
Exactly. And I think for me, and what I kind of put through this book too, is that the technology is there and it's the easy part. Yes, I said it's the easy part. And technology will continue to innovate and evolve faster than we can ever adopt it and implement it. And so I break down healthcare access into 5 pillars: geographic, financial, cultural, digital, and trust and knowledge. And if we focus on those 5 pillars, no matter what technology we're creating, no matter what solution or what problem we're solving, this is the path to proper commercialization, proper scaling, and ultimately properly solving the real problem as opposed to the easy problem.
Yes, and I think the real problem is also what I believe in is the social capital pillar, right? That
Yes,
it's that how can you understand your ICP so well? Then you know the geographical location. Then you know how they believe in what culture means for that geographical location, right? Because culture is not just like where Asian, white, Hispanic, right? That's not it. It's about this community of where you belong to physically, spiritually, psychologically, right? How are you creating the web of connections and to build who you believe you are, right? And then so there's a multiple facet of that. So you start layering and having people to have more of a deeper dive of their
yes,
research of who they are on identifying that. And I think that's so critical because most people will come, right? We say they're so good at demonstrating their intellectual capital. And then we dive deeper into do people actually need this tech? Right? Like this,
exactly.
yes, whatever you build, yes, we do need to have the tech experts to understand the integration, the IP. Yes, 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 right? We will do that. Stepping beyond the bedside isn't about leaving patient care behind. It's about multiplying your impact. Sarah's journey reminds us that scaling healthcare innovation starts by understanding the problem, learning the business behind the solution, and building with commercialization in mind from day one. Tech alone won't change healthcare, but combining clinical insight with business strategy creates solutions that people actually adapt. Now, before we jump into the second half of our conversation, let's take a quick pause and invite you for something that all of us really should do. If you're a founder with the established solution and real users or an executive leading a healthcare pharma organization, then we would love for you to speak on our podcast. Thanks everyone for helping us to rank top 100 under entrepreneurship in the US and UK and 2.5% top shows globally by Listen Note. Go to theprovidersedge.com to apply. But beyond that, it's actually very critical on what you're talking about, this social capital side of the understanding the exact output, the people, the experience that can be built, right? And then the other pillar I also believe in is the human capital side. Who are the leader behind that company? Are the drivers? Are they having friction? How are they solving the friction? How can they have the right people to actually deliver what they're promised on that intellectual property side, right? So that's, I guess, the ultimate thing is healthcare is difficult because sometimes we're so siloed into just looking at this, just looking at that. And for you is to start putting the puzzle pieces, making the dots and the connection together to help them see both the builder side, you need to think that way, but also executive, we also need to think that way, right? It's not just this one department's role, their job
Exactly.
description. It's more than that. You have the sensibility to create, to be a pillar of the neural web, right? Like my neuroscience brain is always like, you're one of the neurons that's firing, but you need to fire to someone, right? To receive those.
I would agree. I think too, when we're building and you're in a startup or whatever kind of area you are in your maturation, a lot of times doctors get put into one box. Oh, we're serving
Mm,
providers. And we talked about this a little earlier. If I am going to have a solution that's going to hit some sort of cardiac issue for patients, providers, et cetera, if I'm aiming that at cardiologists, that's a lot different than cardiothoracic surgeons. Those are very different groups of people with different incentives, with different knowledge bases and different kinds of patients that they take care of. And oftentimes they're in very different settings. And so instead of putting them into one bucket, we have to remember that not all doctors are the same, just as no two patients are the same in a lot of ways, too. So I think this is one of those big fallacies, especially from the beginning, that first pitch deck, because there are lots of companies that are trying to stand on their own 2 feet without enough provider information, research, and advisory. Because ultimately, unless you're in this, you don't understand it all the way. And so I think that's a great opportunity for providers who are moving into the tech space, moving into investment, into the startup space, to really take all the knowledge they have and utilize it for ways that can assist in building these companies to scale.
exactly. It's also when they do these pitch deck, I don't want to just to say, oh, we have one famous
Mm,
doctor, right? I wanted to see you have 10, 20 people backing you who are also domain experts. One person doesn't count for power, it counts for one validation. And then we love it that you at least have one clinician on your board, right? But you also
exactly.
needed to demonstrate how is that person already contributing to believing in you, or is that person started with the customer journey that helping you to build this, or do you have a led pilot by this type of people, so then we can believe in that creation or co-creation what clinicians really add and contribute to that factor, right? And then we also know it's not just clinicians need to be your champion, all your admin people need to be your champion because they're actually handling all those work, right? So don't ignore the office managers, don't ignore the system-wise leaders that are actually half the time making the buyer decision. The clinician is the forefront of adoption, but you needed to make everyone happy. So be able to have that clearly demonstrated and give us a user scenario that beats all the 10-minute talk on how special your technology, your molecular differences for biotech is different from someone else. Into the experience of you now going to amazing talks, book tours, all the fun stuff, what really you believe is next for you? What's something that you really want to focusing on as you go forward?
So healthcare access is not going away. There's lots of work to be done. And there's lots of folks who don't even know that it's actually a really great segment to go into because, again, huge, pervasive, and urgent problems. So for me, first, it's about messaging and starting this conversation. And what I love about going all over the United States and beyond is starting that discussion, hearing new thoughts on that, and talking to different kinds of leaders. An example is I was just speaking at a conference this past week with marketing executives from healthcare and life science systems, and to hear their perspective on access and how they're moving messages to their customers was very exciting and interesting. And so I really love kind of getting outside of the normal box of delivery and even just startup tech to consider alternatives so we can solve these problems better.
Yes. And what is hearing so far that intrigues you as the pivots happening in the market now?
So my secret sauce is go to market and commercialization, and that's where I usually help startups the most and where I have the most energy and excitement. And it's nice to also validate some of the thought process that I have been pounding the drum on for a long time. And a lot of that is the message matters. And so that first pitch deck, a lot of subject matter expert founders in particular, or doctor founders, they don't understand that I don't care about your tech. I care that it works and that it's going to evolve, but I care about the people. Are they going to lead this organization well? And is this problem something that's going to have a real market and make a business? And so it's nice to see the ability to move that messaging and commercialization thought process back to the pitch deck, back to the business case. Because if you don't have those things in your mind, how you're going to get reimbursed, who you're going to sell to, how you're going to sell to them, where you're going to sell to them, then you may have a great technology, but you might not have a business.
Correct. And I think that's the technical founder dilemma, right? Like they have the
Absolutely.
brain of the MITs, right? The Harvards and all that. But then when I ask them a question, it's like, so how people get to know you? They're like, but we are the first, where we are the leader of these research. And then I'm goes, that's amazing, but this is the first time I know you.
Yeah,
So
never heard of
now
you.
hurt you, right? Like it's nothing saying you're not good enough, is but you are a best hidden secret. If you're in that way, if you don't know how to really represent yourself on the public front to get people to know you, building those and having a solid sound plan that makes sense for us, that there is a marketable place, then just because you tell me this is a $10 billion market, it doesn't really matter to us, right? It
Exactly.
does. If it doesn't make sense, right? You have to almost like talk to us like a sixth grader. Makes so much sense. I was just like, okay, I got you. Let's help you to get somewhere, right?
I think the other thing too is that for those of us like you and I who have been executives in tech, investment, VC, et cetera, for a long time, there's nothing worse than underestimating a doctor because we cannot be underestimated, at least not to our face. And so when we walk into the room and you think we're just a clinical voice, be aware because there's many of us who have been building businesses larger than yours for a long time.
Yes. And be able to put that appreciation, right? So usually for me, it's like stop just asking them to do an introduction. You wanted to ask the right question to engage with them,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And especially when there are so many startups, there's so many deal flow that we see all the time.
So many.
We also have a different evaluation system, right? You don't actually know what people want until you have that dialogue with them, until you ask those high questions. Stop jumping in any meeting, start doing your own introduction. You want to allow other people to share, so then you can align what they want, what they're good at, what their desire zones are to what you can do, right? Otherwise, how do you make sure that even you invite someone to be on your board, that they are truly there to be able to contribute in the way that you can appreciate them the most, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of us love to help a startup, but I think we got burned by having a lot of conversation. People are not moving, they cannot conceptualize it, and then it's a waste, right? And so we don't want that to ever happen to either side, right? We want
No,
all
definitely
the
not.
conversation, energy, and what you mentioned, access. Access is not just about the number of
Mm-mm.
connections, right? Access is actually about how do you create connection with the right people, right organization, the right solution, so you're not in this perpetual way of just exploring.
I'd agree. I'd agree.
What would be the most helpful next step for everybody else out there, for both the builders and the executive to be connected with you?
So thank you for asking. My main page is drsarahmatt.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I have all sorts of fun ways that I engage with that community every week. And then go buy my book. It's something that's actionable. It's something that might change your mind about a couple things and it'll start that conversation. It's on pre-order right now, and I'd love you to be part of that discussion.
Yay! One idea really stood out in this part of our conversation is that health innovation isn't about building more features. Rather, it's about designing solutions people will actually use. The strongest founders think beyond the technology and map the entire customer journey, from clinicians and administrators to patients and caregivers. When you understand every stakeholder's need, you don't just create a better product, you build a business that's ready to scale. So for all the visionaries out there, let's turn your idea and your innovation into a fundable magnet. Your pitch isn't a presentation, it is a conversational tool. Join us at our monthly Hot or Not, and where you have 2 minutes to pitch in front of other clinicians, operators, and investors, and get persuasive rewrite from our judges. Go to pitch2yes.com to submit your pitch. Everyone go check out Dr. 𝘶𝗹𝗏's website, her book, connect with her on LinkedIn. And we're so excited to potentially have her in Health Board Advisor as one of the advisors and investors to help even more startups that we truly believe in. We want you guys to be successful, right? It's never going to be, hey, get some fundraise and then go for it, right? There's a systematic way to
Yes.
launch. Otherwise, we've seen too many valley of death people that cannot get out of there, right? It's never just about having a good idea. It's always about connection of the good idea with the good social connection, the messaging and the doing, and the good people that can get you there and build it and trust and have the resilience to keep going. So appreciate everyone for being here wherever you're listening, watching this. Please let us know what is something that you're building, that you're so passionate about, especially giving more better access, leveraging technology in the healthcare space, and perhaps send Dr. Sarah or myself a message so we can continue the conversation. Many healthcare innovations never reach their true potential because adoption isn't built into the strategy from the start. In this conversation, we explore what separates a promising solution from a sustainable business and why understanding access, using behaviors, workflow, and market reality matters just as much the technology itself. The founders who succeed aren't just building products. They're creating solutions that stakeholders trust, fund, implement, and use consistently. Now, here are the key founder learning points. Number one, commercializing starts before you build. Many founders believe commercialization begins after the product is finished. In reality, the strongest companies start by deeply understanding the problem, the people experiencing it, and how solutions fit into existing workflow. Technology creates possibility, but commercialization is what turns innovation into adoption. Number two, sell the outcome, not the technology. Founders often spend too much time explaining how their technology works instead of why it matters. Investors and customers are looking for solutions that solve meaningful, urgent problems and create measurable value. The clearer you communicate the outcome, the easier it becomes to earn trust, funding, and adoption. Number three, design for entire healthcare system. Healthcare solutions don't succeed because one user loves it. It succeeds because every stakeholder can use them effectively, from clinicians and administrators to patients and operational team. Each group influences adoption. The company that scales are the ones that design around the complete customer journey, not just a single end user. Number four, turn clinical expertise into a competitive advantage. Clinical advisors should be more than names on a slide. When clinicians help shape product strategy, customer discovery, workflow design, and commercialization from the beginning, they become a true competitive advantage. Founders who build alongside of clinical expertise create solutions that fit the reality of healthcare. Number five, investors back businesses, not just breakthrough. A strong technology is only part of the investor story. Investors also evaluate whether founders understand their market, communicate a clear vision, and have a realistic path to growth. The most compelling pitches don't overwhelm with technology details. They clearly explain the problem, the opportunity, and why this team is positioned to win. Number six, better healthcare access starts with better system design. Improved access isn't simply about adding more technology. It's about removing friction throughout the patient and provider's experience, from confusing workflow and disconnected system to unnecessary administrative burdens. The companies that create lasting impact focus on making healthcare easier for everyone involved. If someone looking at your product today Would they immediately understand the problem you're solving, or would they mostly understand the technology behind it? Thank you for listening. Remember, the positive change we're seeking starts right here with me and you. If you are a fan of the show, or if you are just having struggles or success that you're either experienced in the past or are experiencing now in the healthcare industry, these matter to all of us. I want to hear from you. Visit sabrinarumback.com/connect and send me a direct message. Talk soon.